Hello and welcome back, everyone. Scootsy16 here with the Windy City Thunderbolts in the Super Mega Legend League. Last we left off, this team failed once again, 3 seasons in, and we have struggled. This year, we started off looking really good. I thought this team was poised to make a strong playoff push. I also thought we had a good chance to run the table in the playoffs. Unfortunately, as we progressed through the season, the team started to fade a bit. Players were underperforming. We had to make a change. If you watch that last episode, you'll see that we bailed. We started accumulating funds. We started doing some development, and suddenly the team started to surge. And as we reached the back half of the season, the last few games, I decided to make one more push for the playoffs. We did not end up successful in that area, and we ended up falling to um, 82 and 80, 3 games behind the Green Bay Grapplers for the division. It was a terrible division in the Midwest this year, and we had a chance to make something happen, but unfortunately, this team was just so hot and cold for so many years. Now, I believe this was our best season to date. Okay, so we actually went 82 and 80 in season 2, and we ended up meeting that same record in season 3 as well. Changes are a coming, folks. We have a lot to work on, and it's time for us to dig into the off season here. I'm not satisfied with a lot of performances, and I am ready to start making some adjustments. So let's go ahead and get into this re-signing period. And I will tell you that my strategy, even if I'm planning to replace a player, I will still sometimes give them what they're currently getting, and if they come back, it's kind of as a placeholder. So if you see that here, I'll explain it, of course, but just know that I'm not necessarily planning to keep players, even if I choose to keep them on the roster. So as we head into the offseason, we'll see where we might be making changes based on who's available. So we're going to go in here, and we have Winston Draper retiring at age 40. And that's okay with me. We weren't planning to keep him on the team. So going forward, Haley Barnstormer, absolutely a candidate to be replaced. She's valued at 4 million. She's making 3. She's going to stay at 3 if she chooses to come back at 99% chance. And she does. Mashed Taters, I'm hoping that last year was a down year, and I'm hoping that he can come back and perform very well next year going forward. He's asking to stay at his current salary, which is 0.4 million below his value. So I'm fine with that. I will be keeping an eye out for options to replace him, though, depending on who might be younger potentially as we're going into his age 26 season. So we'll resign him for now, and we'll see what ends up happening. Now, Willie Randolph, error prone like crazy. I don't know how you can have 86 fielding, a 61 arm, and have so many errors. Let's see if we can view his stats. He has 34 errors over those 3 seasons and 12 errors last year, which stays on par. This is just not okay. Now, he did have an up year in power, a little bit more than he did last year, but other than that, a little bit more of that OPS, but I want to see more out of him, especially defensively. He's a guy I'd be willing to keep at his current salary, but don't want to pay him 10 million for what he's currently doing. If he doesn't come back, I'm okay with that. I'm looking to find an alternative option at that point. So we'll see if he has a 78% chance here to come back at his current salary, which is well below his, I believe it's 2 million. 2.1 million below what he's valued at. So we'll see. 78% chance, and he does. So we do have Willie back. I, again, would be looking to replace him depending on who's available. Pepe, like him as a backup. Not interested in seeing him be a starter yet. I don't think at 20, what will be 25, that he is a viable candidate to start regularly. Again, I will keep him for now. He's still below his value, and we might look to see if there's any other backup options. Winston Draper's off the team. Hanley Dexter is making way more than he is valued at. He was only signed for that little playoff push, so we are not planning to bring him back. That's a lot of freed up money right there. Vinny Tannen. This is a core player for us. He is a guy that I am planning to keep. He is currently 0.6 million overvalue. I'm okay with that. He performed exactly how we wanted him to. He is an A minus at 22 going into a 23 season, and I think he'll only be getting better. So we're going to keep him where he's at. He wants to stay where he's at. I'm happy with that. Let's move forward. Now, Briggs Phelps was another player where he's just kind of a backup option we threw together. I think it was for chemistry purposes, but also for a little bit of flexibility. He's not coming back. We're dropping him. All right, George Bell. George, he had a down year as well. I wanted to see him produce more. He had less power. He had less production, less everything compared to season two. I would be interested in bringing him back and hoping that this was a one-off. He also had more strikeouts, but a guy that I think has to platoon in left field. I don't think he's a starter. Ideally, we get him to that point where he is a exclusive DH until that fielding gets better, especially if just wild thrower negatively impacting him. He's also only 21, so 91% chance to bring him back at 6.2. I'm okay if he chooses to go, but I feel pretty confident he'll stay where he's at, and we want to try and pitch our pennies as much as we can here. All right, so he's coming back. So we have a starting left fielder. That's good. Cohen Dantas. This is a guy that I don't really feel any way about him at all. Decent speed. He's also 39. We're just going to go ahead and release him. We can always bring him back later if we need to. Leandro, he was originally on the team to start the year. We brought him back in, but he's currently making more than he's valued. So we are definitely dropping him. I'd be looking to get a better option in center field. And if we brought him back at his current valuation at 7.1, I'd be satisfied with that. But we're not going to target him specifically. So bye, Leandro. We do wish you well. All right, Dan Jeterson, another just cheap signing to keep keep the team intact here. So we're going to drop him. Hera has been our primary catcher, and she actually had a really good year compared to the previous ones. She had an up year in power. She did have a higher OPS and on-base percentage, just produced much better than she has in the past. And I like to see that, and I hope that it continues to improve. So we're going to hope that Hera, who's at 94% chance, I'm fine with rolling this one just because it's such a high chance that she'll come back, and none of you can laugh at me in the comments below if this backfires on me. So this is a difference of 0.7, and I still want to pinch those pennies. So Hera, come back to us. 94% chance, 81 loyalty. She does. She's signing. She instantly accepted that offer. All right, Lachlan McMackey. This is another core piece of our team. He is at a 99% chance to come back, but he is asking for 0.1 million more than he's currently making. If I wanted to roll the dice, I could. I have literally seen 99% leave, so I am not running the risk for him. So Lachlan, you earned your 0.1 million pay raise just for being an S tier and for being just a kick-ass cool dude. All right, David Gallegos, another guy that we brought in for that playoff push. He's out of here. Frank Viola, far outperformed what I expected from him. That reverse splits was so nasty from him. Originally, we did have tier 3 for our crafty traits as well, so that was even more of a detriment to the offenses he was facing. 99% chance here. I am going to roll the dice on this one. It's a little bit of a higher uptick, 0.3 million. I know it's not that much, but I want Frank Viola to stay where he's at, and I think he will at 99%. So, Frank, we want you on the team to be a part of this core. Thank you so much. He'll be heading into his 26th season, and that's okay with me. Ken Owens. Dude, this guy has been a failure. He's only 21. He came into this league really young, but has not done anything of development. We haven't even had many opportunities to develop him. He is now a B minus, but he just hasn't done anything to make me feel like there's an opportunity here. I'd rather look elsewhere. So Ken Owens, he'll be available if we decide to change our minds, but I'm going to release him. All right, this bullpen. Oh, I love this bullpen. This is my favorite part of our team. Withers Hansen is a core member. He is at a 96% chance to come back. He's asking for zero point 0.6 million more. This is a guy I absolutely want to bring back, but I'm going to roll the dice on this one at a 96% chance. Withers, you know you want to stay here. I also love that he is a Yes, he instantly accepted the offer as well. I love that he's a long reliever, just a dude that we can rely on. I hope he continues to develop. All right, Kendra Kerr, I'm going to come back to her. Queen Jimenez, she's making 4.9. She's asking for 6.7, which is what she's valued at. She is a 64% chance to come back, and her stats have been pretty rough, but she is getting better. So she's developing. And that's what we want to see. I really wish that that team name would shift to the left. There's so much room there that's just wasted, and it overlaps into the win column there. Um, she has gotten better. I think she's worth what she's asking for. So this one, I'm not going to roll the die. I'm going to give her the roll the die. Yeah. I'm going to give her the 1.8 million pay raise in hopes that she continues to develop. So Queen, jump on board. You're staying with us. Next, Jensen Deputy. This guy is currently valued at 6.1. He's making 6 million. He's asking for 7.5. I can't justify giving him that much. I wish his loyalty was higher. He's at a 75% chance to come back, and Jensen is a guy that I really like. Those two traits, reverse splits and rally stopper, are solid. And if we look at his career stats, he had a really great year this year. I'm going to roll the dice, though. I'm going to roll and see, can we keep him at his current salary? We're going to take the chance. It's a 1.5 million pay raise that I'm not interested in, as he's getting to his peak years. So 75% chance to come back. Come on, Jensen. Yes, he eventually accepted the offer. It's exactly what we're looking for. All right, Ryder McBride. I love the guy to death, but boy, what an abysmal season this was for him on our team. 4.13 ERA, a 1.43 whip, which was a career high. Just did not do what we expected him to do. Career low in strikeouts, career high in walks. Um, not good. I'm gonna look to find an opportunity elsewhere here, and I would be open to bringing him back. But this is me trying to avoid my biases and trying to re-sign him. And then Kendra Kerr, oh Kendra, she looks amazing, right? Look at that. She's got stimulated. She's got 4 pitches. She's got great attributes all around. What is with these career stats? Why does she have an ERA just below 4 for her career? Why is it that she has a 1.32 whip, which isn't terrible, but much higher than I expected it to be? Why is it that she is not doing as well as we would have expected from her? Look how many home runs she's given up over her career. We cannot have this happen. She's only 23. She's an A. She's making 9.2 million, which is more than Withers, or which is right at what Withers is making, and she just doesn't justify that salary. So I think we look to find an opportunity elsewhere. I'm going to dump Kendra Kerr and free up some funds there. And this is going to leave us with a lot of players that we need to fill on this roster. So Kendra, I'm sorry, but we're going to let you go. And that's the decision. We have a handful of players that we're looking to bring back. A couple of players that, while we are looking to bring them back, we're open to replacing them. And this is where we go. We get started into the negotiating rounds. Quick little peek. We see Winston is gone, as we knew. Hugs Lavelle is gone, retired. Benny Balmer and Spike Pena. In the highlights of players that are available, anything stick out to me? Juice Jackson sticks out. We tried him for a season and it didn't really work. I don't think we'd be bringing him back, especially with Vinny Tannen on the team. And nothing else really stands out to me that I'd be interested in with their ages and their positions. So let's go ahead and start looking into everything. I am going to start by age. We have no 19-year-olds, so another light year when it comes to young players coming in. Looking at Dancer Felix here, that's not a project I'm interested in developing. Ella Royds is on the list. Is this her first year? Yes, so Ella Royds is brand new. I'll be watching for her. I think her platooning with Harrow Williams would be really interesting, especially if we brought Crafty back up to tier three. Beckham Young. So here's the deal: do we start working on getting our scholarly traits up into that tier two? Right now, gets ahead doesn't imply it doesn't seem too appealing. 7.9 million for Beckham. I don't know. I'll star him, but he's not a guy I'm super excited about. Enrique Goyo, this is his third year in the league. I don't see him developed that well yet, and he would only be a left fielder. Not interested. Lawrence Whipple, gonna pass on him. Ken Owens, we already talked about him. Omar and Parker, very, very bad players that we're not interested in. I think Lane Fitzpatrick is too high of a talent here. That's going to cost more than I'm willing to spend. Nolan Rosario, no. Eric Charles, he's a little bit cheaper. I will look at Eric Charles. He doesn't have any traits, but 5 pitches and some solid attributes there. All right, Harold Baines, not interested in Noodle Arm from right field or any of the outfield spots. Ahmed Longstop has whiffer, but has super high contact. I'd be interested in keeping an eye on him. We have Stetson Hawkins, but he's got too many negative traits. Hanzo Manjico, is this his first year? 1 year with the Brooklyn Boomers. So he can be potentially a replacement for Pepe, and he has more flexibility and a good defender already. So Hanzo, we'll watch you. Heel Stokes, let's see. Has choker, don't like that. It would be a minimum debuff if we still plan to stay in that spirited traits, which I do want to try and stay in. That's always my favorite to stick with, as some of you may already know. As a starter, 23 years old, has 4 pitches, but 3 of them are fastballs, and he has that high velocity pick officer. I don't know. That doesn't look that enticing to me. Nathan Rush in the outfield, outside pitch and magic hands, not bad for a backup. No for Cozy Spooner. Brecken Logan, not good enough. Kendrick Kerr's out there. Leslie Warren. So here's a player, 24, has Mind Gamer, Crafty, 10.7 million compared to Mash. I'd play up a little bit more, or I'd pay up a little bit to bring her onto the team. She's also got backup third base position, and look at how good she is already. Is this her first year? Nope, 3 years with the Brooklyn Boomers, and she's started to see her power increase. We started to see production coming from her in year 3 compared to the first 2. All right, Leslie, we're gonna keep an eye on you. Odin Rotten is a very good fielder, but only plays center and first. That's kind of a deal killer for me. Kyle Andrade has Dive Wizard, would only play first, has decent hitting abilities, so is only 24. I'll watch him, and that could be a downgrade at first base that I'd be comfortable with. Off-speed hitter for Stallion Johnson. He's only 24, and all he has is speed. Ugh, I don't know about that one. Kathy Cul-de-sac is still out there. We could potentially bring her back. She did not play very well for us in the time that she was with us, and that was disappointing, especially since her previous years she did pretty well. So I'd look to consider her, but not 100%. Here's a good one that I'd be interested in looking at. Amari Bango. K collector and consistent, has a pretty good accuracy. The rest are a little bit lower, and I'm okay with that with K collector, and 24 has room to develop. Clayton Watkins, that's a player I'd look to bring on. 4 pitches, just kind of middling, bottom of the rotation pitcher there. Beetle Middleman, that's a fun name. Don't like crossed up at all, so I'm going to pass there. And then Gad Glover, I don't think this player is good enough to work on development at 24. Juice, sorry, bud. Did you get better last year? 36 home runs. So I'm glad you produced for the Houston Heaters because you didn't for our team, and that's really frustrating to see. Could you imagine how well we would be producing if we had Juice, David Ortiz, mashed taters, and Ham Slammus all actually producing last or that second season? Just lost opportunities. Rotunda Black, I think too good to bring in. I'm looking for like that B-ish range. Rick Ruschel. I don't think I'm interested in that. Andre Candela. Let's see. Andre at second base. Could we bring him in instead of Willie? 10.9 million. Willie's making 8.6. No, that's not a decision that would make sense unless he dropped well below, which I don't see happening. Don Sutton. That's a meth for me. Carl Dropkin. This is a player I'd look to replace in center field. Center, first, and outfield, 25. Great speed, solid contacted fielding, and above average arm and power. Has big hacks, so that shifts the power and contact. That's a player I like. We'll look to see if we can bring him in. There's Kara Pickles, who didn't work in season one for us. I'm going to pass there. We're just slowly working our way through this. Cash Basket could be our platoon player. She did not play well for us last year. We did end up cutting her. As an option, I'll tag her, but I don't think so. Coyle Marshall, I think we tried him too. He has developed more. Has he been playing better? No. Boy, he is not good either, huh? Woof. So we'll pass on Coyle. Muhammad, nope. That's a closer. We'll always look at Tish in the outfield. Aiden Herbert at third base. 25. Great speed and fielding. Not a very good arm. Good, okay power. Not great contact. Has big hack. I'll star him. I'm not confident with that one. Troy Percival. 3 pitches, rally stopper. Do we think about bringing him in instead of Kendrick Kerr? All right. Gale. 8.6 million. I don't think so. Torrey Hunter. Ooh, I like Torrey. That might be our starting center fielder next year, and he's cheaper than Carl Dropkin, but 1 year older. We'll see what we're at price-wise. Joseph Trunk, I like him. He's 26. He does have choker, but it would be negative, or it would be a minimal debuff there, but I think I'm going to pass on him. Josiah Mack, nope, 3 pitch starter, pass on that one. Jack McDowell gets ahead, has a 3 pitches. Pro Rodriguez, B minus. This could be a player we look to bring in. Had 1 year that was pretty bad. Maybe a change of scenery helps. Orlando Cabrera at short. We're good at short. Kevin Youkilis at third. We're good at third. I don't like him at third with his really low arm. Splash Hess. Stimulated. 5 pitches. Relief pitcher. Interested. Also has spirited, so that might help us. Mark Loretta is making too much to be a backup on this offense or on this team. Francisco Musto, not good enough. Mary Marzo, 26, has good power, contact, and speed. Poor fielder. First and third. I'll tag her maybe as a DH option. All right, Bad Hop Brown. No. Bindi, no. Boris, Pan. Johnny Lindsay. We looked at him, but he's too much. Stanley Hill. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and then come back up. All right. I think at this point, I'm just going to focus on looking at the traits and what they have. So like Jim Rice has cannon arm from right would be kind of nice. Plays left as well. Nacho Crisp. Kingsley has fastball hitter, good arm. We might bring Kingsley in. Only plays third, and contact and speed are the only other good things about him at 27. I don't know. Nick Dieguez, that's pretty pricey. Verse splits as a righty could kind of be the alternative to Viola. I'll eyeball him. 12.2 million's a lot though. All right, Diagro. Assad South or Hadassah South. Not bad. All right. I think at this point I'm gonna change gears a little bit and I'm gonna shift to um sorting by age and then by position. And we're gonna start looking at some of these position options. So Felix X Espinoza, we could look to bring in. I don't like the fielding or the arm, but durable is a great trait to have on catchers. We could also bring in our boy Raylan Frank, who has good power, no contact, no speed, but good fielding and a great arm and has cannon arm. I'm going to look to see if he can get a little bit cheaper before we bring him in, but I like him instead of Barnstormer. Going to the first base position now, and we already talked about some of these options. So Leslie Warren would be an interesting option at 24, Kyle Andrade at 24, Mary Marzo at 26, but more of a DH option instead. Looking at some of these other options here, we could look to bring back David, but I think our time has passed for him. I need a shake up here on this team. And Keith Hernandez at 35. He could be an emergency option if necessary. Ket Stanza's not good contact enough. Dirk Sportswood, not a bad option. Has Butterfingers, and that's okay with me. He's already below, but no, I'm not going to get Dirk. Not as a drop from MASH. Yeah. So that's all our options for first base. A couple of ones that I'd consider to replace mashed taters. Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's head back. Let's head down to second baseman now. Is there anybody we would be willing to replace Willie Randolph with? No for Andre. No. No. Cameron Wall. Good defender. Could be a backup shortstop. Well, you know we need those. 7.3 is too much, I think. Kiwi Kennedy. Power versus righties and has contact at 90 already. That's a B plus. That's too much. So we have Kiwi Kennedy. We have Kiwi Greenman. Has rally starter. Second and third. Second and short. Still too much money. Edgar Asherbaum, I'm going to pass. Brayole. Oh, Olio, No, I don't see anyone. Jacques Pepperonis. I don't see anyone that's here that I would be interested in letting go of Willie Randolph for. So Willie's safe for another year, assuming he produces during the year. Charlie Duncan. I'm going to put a star next to Charlie because of his clutch trait. Because anybody that gets clutch, especially if I have it maxed out, is a player I'd like to see on my team. Gina Torrens, that's just a worse version of Willie, but probably for more. Or at least the same. All right, so we looked at Ahmed Longstop at third. We do need a starting third baseman. Minus 25 contact is a bit debilitating, but manageable. Puts him at about 70 for contact if he has whiffer activated with tier 2. Juice, too expensive. Aiden Hebert. I just don't think he's good enough to start at shortstop. Kevin Youkilis, no. Scrolling down again. Wow, there's a lot of third basemen available here. Woo, we got a lot of options. Are they good, though? Ghost Wang. Tell me about it. Um, Stealer and Slowpoke. Those are kind of contradictory traits. Not a bad option, but not something I'm excited about. Kingsley was interesting. Peyton Frost. I think Kingsley would be a platoon option with another third baseman if we find him, like maybe Aiden or what are the other players we were just looking at? Peyton Frost. Nah. Luis Idol. Philip Parmigiano. We already talked about him last year. We were looking at him. He's a utility player. I'm going to look at him for sure. That would be a good backup option that can play third. Herbert Hackman, just defense pretty much. Lennon Mastiff. Hello, Kyle Seager. Ooh, I like him. Great fielder, slow, but that's okay. Has great or good power, has average contact, but then would get the plus 20 to his contact, putting him at 72 during or against righties. Kyle might be our starter, and then maybe we bring in Kingsley as our backup, or Philip Parmigiano as our backup alternative with him. All right, Dick Berger, Dron Santo, Ian Fielder. Ian could be a decent utility option at 4.9. Hoots Bugsby, no. George Brett, he's too expensive. Yeah. Vito Feynman, no. Miles or Marshall Miles. Pass. Paul Molitor, pass. Too much. Okay. Ali Finder is 41. Not a bad option, but boy, 10.2 for a 41-year-old that has cannon arm and about to fall off a cliff. All right, Hanzo, we're getting into the shortstops now. I'm only looking at shortstop as a, do we have someone that we'd get as a backup option? So here I like to look at the traits and chemistry, and I also like to look at good fielders. What's Wiggles Freeman doing down here with his cannon arm? Average across the board. Ugh. He's clean, a good fielder, but only plays short. Buttons is too expensive. I'm not looking at any of these options here. Samari, Walter, not good enough. Okay, Milo, too good. Maximus Melton, not interested. Rick Burleson, not a bad option. We've looked at him in the past too. Get down here too. I'll put a star next to Fowler. He showed up huge for us when we pulled him in off the streets. We did actually talk to him afterwards. He was working at a grocery store as a bagger for that whole time up until we gave him the call. So he was grateful. He had that big moment, that some of those big moments in that game against the Soul Spirit, and that was nice to see. Arsenio's still out here, decent option. I'm gonna pass on him, and then Alan Trammell is too good. All right, outfielders. I'm gonna pop over to our team really quick and just remember where we're at. We need a center fielder and we need two backup outfielders or two platoon outfield options. So, looking at our lefties, Enrique, no, I liked Nathan Rush, initially. Kathy and Cash. Just scrolling through these really quick. Billy Williams. I think he's too expensive. 6.9. Aspen Lou. Preston Cannon kind of looks like a older version of George Bell. Maximus Taverna. This isn't a bad option to have on the bench. An RBI hero that has good speed and has the stealer trait. Like, that's what you want to have, especially in the later parts of the season. Staying alive a lot. Log Freely, Nori, Miyoshi, Clifford, Slapper, too good. Pumper, Lumpkins, no. Sam Houston. Thanks for bearing with me through this part. I know it may look a little boring, and I'm just kind of saying names out loud and stuff, but I know some of you really enjoy this. And I also just want to kind of show you my thought process as I go through this. I'm also going to star Cohen because he does have some good traits there, and he's also got good speed. And then Odin Rotten, we already passed on him. So 24 years old is the youngest center fielder. All right, we put a star next to some of these center fielders. We're actually looking for a starter here. So whether it's Carl Dropkin, whether it's Tish Balin, or Torrey Hunter. I'm leaning towards Torrey. And I would also look at Carl, but he's just a little more expensive. So Torrey is starting to seem a little bit more appealing to me there. Lawrence is fast as hell. Doesn't have really good contact or arm. He'd be around the same price as Torrey, a year older. I still like Torrey there. We already know what we got in Leandro Blacksmith. Super Samson, never a bad option for fielding, but would only field. And at 7.1, I'll put a star next to him. I do like having that option. Chili Davis isn't good enough. Fungo. Geronimo James. As a backup at 5.5, that's not bad at all. So right now, I do like the idea of that left fielder, Maximus Taverna, as a cheap option as a backup. I also was still interested in considering, as we reach the end of our center fielders, there's Aya all day, and we get to the right fielders. There we go, Jay Buhner. God, he's only 20, but what did he do last year? Oh, he barely played. Never mind. I like the idea of Ella Royds coming in. We might pay a little bit more for her, but it would justify the cost. Oh, actually, she's only 6 million. Ooh, I actually might do that. So Ella with Taverna would be a good platoon option, and Ella would rotate more with Hera Williams, but that would leave us not so like abandoned in right field. Is Taverna play all three positions? Yes, he does. Ooh, that actually makes it even more intriguing for us. Okay, so righties. Is there anyone here that I'd be interested in over Taverna? That's a good name. Freeman Lobster. There's Hammerlong Ballo, but I'm not paying for him. Sluggy. Everyone's getting already up into the 30s here. Connor Beal is 34. He has cannon arm, but that's all he's got. Marvin Moreno, no. Dimples Hogwash. Billy LeBoink. He's always a decent option to have in the backup position. Hank Aaron's 39. That's really good, but that's a lot. Yeah. All right. I think we're set with who we think we're going to have for the offense. Let's go over to the pitching staff side of things. We already started a few of these starters. Um, Eric Charles, just a little too pricey, but 23. We'll see where he lands. Heel Stokes is not somebody I'm super stoked about. Clayton Watkins is a guy I'm more intrigued by. I think Pro Rodriguez was okay. Glover Dastardly, like him a lot, but again, he might be a little too pricey. He's more expensive than Eric Hadasa South, another just Matt option. Cecil Sawyer is out there. I like watching for him. Let's see, where do we get to the bottom of these? Lots of them out here. Baller Wildly, too expensive. Charlemagne Charleston, Raul Strikes is not a bad consideration. Ace Von Ason's too expensive. Heard Lovelorn, no. Wingspan Bauer. Yeah, we're really not looking for like at this point we're not looking for the players that are like developable. We just want something that we can work with, you know, a good trait or good accuracy. It's really tough to try and figure out where you're gonna. Peter Luna is a guy I would look at maybe. Let's get down to the bottom of these. There we go. Brandon Webb, interesting. Air Lovestone, Workhorse just doesn't really benefit those players that aren't that good, but I would look to keep an eye on her because she does have good accuracy. All right. Toya Lumberg, meh. Clementine Hines. Yeah, we're getting into the old player territory, but not bad attributes there. Okay. We only need 2 relievers. I like to look at long relievers. So like Amari Bango, as we talked about, really interesting. Luis Tiant has Workhorse as a long reliever. That's really intriguing. 9.9. I think that's a little more than I'd like. Danielle Branch. 11.1 is too much. I'm going to steal both of these. Bradley Bowler's not a bad option to consider. Stephen Fletcher. Clutch comes in huge. I like it. He's got an elite changeup. He's got clutch. He's a lefty. That's a guy I really like. Okay. Is that all of them? Okay. And then we saw Beckham Young, which was 20, who's 22. I'm going to scroll down here. Okay, we'll just do it like that. No for Kendra, but Splash Hess is somebody we were interested in. Oh yeah, that was the 5-pitch reliever. Heidi Day. Not bad there. Aiden Chuck Roast. And Dervish Reyes. We're gonna also have to like take into consideration the what do you call it? The chemistry once we get to this point too. I just saw Ryder's attribute or his traits, and I got super excited. And I realized it was him. As you can tell, I just can't quit. I just can't quit it. Sign Blinder. I don't have much interest in bringing him in. Shay D has 4 pitches. John Franco, how much are you? 7.6. A guy he'll look at. Righty specialist Avery Peck. Rare. That's a unicorn right there. Avery, I think I'm bringing her onto this team. I think you're going to have to find a really convincing argument not to bring her on. Sportsman is only a 2-pitch reliever, and then I think we're at the point where we're getting to the closers, and I believe Eric Gagne has 4 pitches as a closer, 5 pitches as a closer, 3 for Percival, and then none for anyone else. All right, time for us to make some moves. So first thing I do here after I've gone through and evaluated everyone is I'm going to do a quick search of who's already under their current value. So we saw Charlie Duncan has clutch 0.6 right now, below his normal value. Do we sign him? Let's sign him instead of Draper here, just to put someone in a place. Again, has clutch, so I like seeing that. All right, now we go to Fowler rounds. I'm not gonna bring him in now. I might bring him in later, but what did we say for third base? Oh my God, see, I'm sorry. I'm just drawing a complete blank. I think we saw a player down here. Ahmed, no, not Ahmed. It's Kyle Seager. So we were looking at Kyle Seager coming in and then having either Philip Parmigiano or Kinsley I think Philip Parmigiano, just because he is a utility player as a backup, I think that's where I want to go with that. So let's go ahead and skip a couple of rounds here. LaJoy's gone. No one, no one, no one. We'll probably see one or two coming out here in a second. Kathy Cul-de-sac is gone. Raylan Frank. Ah, damn it. I forgot about Raylan. And Bo Mitchell. Damn it. um, let's do this, and then let's do this. Was there any other catcher? Felix was a catcher I was curious about, but like nobody else was interesting to me, right? Like this Bronson here. He's B minus, bad jumps and first pitch prayer. He's a good defender. Hank Hart is a little bit older. And I'm sorry, something just happened out the window, so that was a little confusing. Something was going on out there, so I got a little distracted there. I think we probably just end up sticking with Barnstormer, don't we? What's Dimples Pennington doing up here? Dimples, if we can get Dimples down to Haley's value, that's not a bad option. Haley is 3 million. I don't think we'll get him to drop that far, but we'll see. All right, so this is where we start to see the best players get signed. I don't think there was anyone that I was interested in that's in that A minus and up tier. Looks like I have a couple here. Leslie, I don't think will get signed yet. And I don't think I'm signing either of those starters. Anyone in the B plus territory? Carl Dropkin at 25. He's still 1 million over. All right, we're going to go to round 14. You're going to start to see some of those big names come out. Let's see, anybody we started? Nope. Caleb Frequent is back to the freebooters. There's Glover Dastardly. I'm okay with that. That's a little expensive for my taste. Kendrick Kerr is gone. Freeman Lobster. And Atlanta Lantana. All right, one more. We're going to see if 3 more players go. Carl Dropkin's out, so I think Torrey Hunter is our guy. And let's see. Cecil Sawyer is gone. That's unfortunate. David Ortiz is gone. Leslie Warren, 11 million. See, that was probably a little more than I wanted to spend. Julio Allison's gone. Eric Charles. That was somebody we weren't going to spend for. All right. This is definitely the time to start buying for the players that are not like C plus or worse. So let's go ahead and come over here. Let's start with our starters. So we need a starting third baseman. So let's go take a look at third. Riet Kyle. $7.4. He's at what he currently gets paid. So Kyle comes in for Hanley Dexteras. Yeah. Now we need a starting center fielder, so let's hop down to center. And our options are Torrey Hunter, who's at 8.9. I'd be willing to pay him extra. We're not bringing in any of these other higher tier players. So Torrey at 8.9. And that's our options for center. These would be backup considerations or save money considerations. And Geronimo is at 4.7 right now. That's pretty crazy. Those are some good stats for 4.7 million. Geronimo might be our guy that we bring in as a backup, at least as a placeholder. Even though he has first pitch prayer, I don't mind that trade at all. So we're going to bring in Torrey. He's going to be our primary center fielder this year. I'm excited about that. I like Torrey Hunter a lot. What else do we need? We need a backup infielder. Why do we have so many infielders? Oh, that's because we don't have the second catcher. So we have an extra infielder option. I'd like that to be, let's see where Parmesan is at. We're also probably going to have to mess around with the traits again once we get to this point. So he's under. So I'll bring him in right now. We'll tinker around after we start bringing in some of the players we were interested in, and we'll have to figure out where we need to make some concessions. So Dimples needs to drop a little bit more before we bring him in. And oh yeah, were we gonna look at an option to replace mashed taters? This is we might go cheaper decision. Boy, we just decided to drop all of our spirited players all of a sudden. Kyle Andrade, Keith Hernandez, Mary Marzo. No. All right, we're going to continue on here. We'll come back and fix things later. Hanzo is still a guy we would look as a backup there. Maybe in replacement of Pepe Vinicio. All right. And if we get Hanzo, then we might be able to get rid of Parmigiano. All right. Outfielders. We liked Maximus Taverna. I think we can save a couple of dollars on him. How old is Taverna? He's 30. Okay. And then we were looking at having Ella Royds come in, who's at 5.9. So I'm going to bring in Ella. I think we're still doing decently fine with money right now. We still need 5 more players. So we're going to have to be cheap with some of these, but I also think that we can find some cost-effective options. Let's hop over to pitchers. We need 2 starters and 2 relievers. So of the players that we starred, we have some average options. Was anybody in the young range that we might want to have? Nope. Clayton Watkins was our youngest. B minus, 24, lefty, 4 pitches, 1.1 million over is asking. He might be able to be just a little bit cheaper if we can go round or 2. Who else did we star and why? Peter Luna, good accuracy, good junk, below average velocity, error, Lobestone with her traits, Haddad. Oh my gosh. If I sign her, I have to keep saying her name. Is that even worth it for me? And then Clementine Hines was like Peter Luna, but more expensive and older. Pro Rodriguez, just a matte option. Air Lovestone is a cheap find, and she'll last longer in the bullpen. So, or I mean, in the starting rotation. So, I think I'm going to bring in Air. She's currently at minus 0.5 million. So, we'll bring in Air to replace Dave. We will look at starting pitching again in a round or 2. And as we head over to the starting pit or the relief pitching options, we saw Stephen Fletcher, who I like. I was very excited about a Avery Peck here, who's 36 and has specialists. Shoot! She has 2 pitches. I said you're going to have a good reason to convince me not to, and that I think is a good enough reason. I don't think I'm going to bring her in with just 2 pitches. Dang it, Avery! What happened to your other pitches? Heidi Day, I liked her, and I also liked, Dervish could be one of those players we bring in for the Spirited. Also, we could hope that Ryder McBride has a better performance this time around. Who is that player that had Splash Hess? 26 has stimulated and 5 pitches. And Spirited. I'm gonna bring Splash in here. She's gonna hopefully. Whoa, that was almost a mistake. Hopefully she makes a splash on this team. Sorry, sorry. I know that was dumb. Okay, now we're starting to get to the end here. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out of time. I have about 5 minutes left, so I might speed up a little bit here. Okay, we need a backup outfielder. We need a new fourth rotation starter, and then we need another bullpen arm. So here's what I'm going to do. I think we're at the point where we're going to save some money here. So we're going to check and see who goes here. So Jay Buhner goes. That's okay. I think he's too much of a development option. And anybody else we were worried about? We see Dimples Pennington. Yeah, 4.1. That's okay. Moving along. Beckham Young was too expensive for us. I'm okay with that. 8 million. Ahmed Longstop. I'm okay. We already have Kyle Seager. Cash Basket was not interested in bringing her back. I do think we need a better outfield option, though. And okay. So, actually, I'm going to go one more round. All right, let's see. Kyle Andrade is gone. Okay, I think we'll stick with MASH. Bradley Buller's gone. John Franco's gone. That would have been a nice player to bring into the bullpen. Amari Bango. I did like him. I totally missed him. 5.8 would have been perfect to bring him into. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm starting to get pressed on time, and I'm getting nervous. So Terrence Washington at 7.3 was a little high. Peter Luna's gone. I think, and then Heidi Day. Shoot, that was another one I was looking at. Kingsley Fox is gone. That's okay. He lasted a long time. How much did he go for? 3.5. Okay, time to make some picks. Let's finish off the rest of this rotation here. So we might end up having George just stay in left field, but we still need... I'm saying we're going to need at least one more. We need a green so these two need to be direct replacements. Chemistry-wise, Cohen Dantas has to be yellow or green, and then we have to replace one more yellow or green player. So let's start with, where are you at, Mr. Oh, he was a lefty. Mr. Maximus Taverna, you're a disciplined player. Shoot, that doesn't work. All right, well, we might have to cut this into a second video. I apologize, everyone. Let's see. We need a new... Let's do it this way. We need another starting pitcher. I was looking at Clayton because he's 24. He's 0.3 under. He's disciplined. Disciplined. Scholarly. 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 What? All these starters are not what we're looking for. All right, I can make adjustments here. I like Clayton because he's 24. He's a lefty. We now have 3 lefties in the bullpen still. I'll maybe make another adjustment later. Let's take a look at the options in the bottom of the bullpen here. Stephen Fletcher. He is scholarly as well. Boy, we might have to drop our... yeah, this is going to be tough to make the chemistry work the way we want it to. Dervis Reyes. Ryder McBride is still out there. And that's, I think, everybody. Yeah. I like Steven with his clutch and great accuracy as a lefty. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to make this change right here for Ryder McBride. We are not done yet. I have to stop my recording and get a new one. So there are going to be 2 parts to this episode. The second part might be much shorter, but I apologize, everyone. You'll see me back here in just a little bit. Bye, everyone.